Welcome in. We are going to deep dive and dissect. And we're really going to touch on some pain points today because the cards I pulled, I was like, okay, what's going on? In the communication field, it looks like there's a bit of manipulation. This is masculine energy coming in. And honestly, it is so important that when somebody is in a leadership position, okay, first off, even if you aren't in a leadership position, it is important that you advocate for you. So what I'm getting here is you are in a situation potentially, and we've got some suppressed feelings and some major control issues. Okay, so we're going to try to work through those feelings, those emotions, whatever it is that is killing your dreams, I would say. Let's just pretend like you have a job or you're in a partnership. You can go from any angle on this. Sure, let's go ahead. Let's see. Let me see if I can figure out who you are. Let's figure out who you are, and then we'll go from there. But I do know that you're not experiencing. So you're a seer. See beyond the current situation. Oof, that gives me chills all over my body. Okay, so you are a seer. Right now, you're experiencing masculine manipulation, emotional overload, and somebody taking advantage of their leadership position. Now, I don't know if this is a partnership because Spirit's telling me that you are a healer. So we experience as healers these lower frequencies because we are there to tsunami them out. Like, don't be afraid. Spirit's like, don't be afraid because you're a healer. You were put in this position because you're there to advocate for the whole. Many people are so afraid to step forward and so afraid to advocate. But remember, whoever this individual is, they're wounded. They're in pain. They are not in a position that they should be in currently. Are they a leader? Yes. Have they been put in this position? Yes. But they're not cultivated. They're not complete. They're not whole. They're suffering. They're wounded. And so anytime this happens, what ends up happening is this kind of energy. So creativity and love. Yes. Yes. And so I'm asking Spirit, you are a seer. What can you do to implement change? And that's love and creativity, right? I always come forward in loving kindness. I always like to come forward without assumption, without expectation. I like to go, okay, this is what's been happening. I'm observing, I can see that. And maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe you don't. But I'm gonna be the one to bring it to the front lines. I'm gonna say, hey, I don't know what's going on around here. It's like I always think about the parable of Jesus Christ when he went into town and he started flipping over tables and he's like, what is happening, right? Because he was like, this has got to stop. You know, whatever was going on, he was just not having it anymore. That was, right? And so that's the kind of what I'm seeing here is we need to start flipping tables over. Not metaphorically, not like harm to none. We don't ever want to harm anybody because we're just meeting them where they're at. We're just doing the same thing they're doing. So we're not making anything any better if we respond in the same way that they did. So you do need to make sure, yeah, there's so much emotion here. So, okay. So on the down low here, this is actually bringing you in particular, the seer, the healer, is bringing you into an emotional battle and conflict. It's like you can't see your way out, but I am here to tell you, you are love and creativity. And here on the bottom portion, I pulled the Moon and the King of Swords upright. And so you notice the opposites here. I've got the King of Cups in reversed and the King of Swords upright. The King of Cups reversed is manipulation and communication, distorted love, distorted everything. Everything is distorted in a reversed king. The upright king, especially the swords, is the one who cuts through truth, exposes it from its very complex state. It will not move without the truth, if that makes sense. And so this up here, whoever this is in your life, you know, and let's take accountability. Maybe this is you. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you got to look at your own shadow. Why are you attracting this? Why are you feeling these pains and wounds? And so I'm going to actually dive into this particular individual. It may be you, maybe somebody that you're working with, but I'm going to look at the vitals of that person and see if we can figure out what wounded state they're in. Okay. Oof, oof, oof. What wounded state? So they're definitely persevering. They are not in a state of bliss or wholeness. Perseverance represents somebody that is struggling. Like what they're projecting onto you is the way that they're feeling. I always say, if you listen to a man long enough, they'll tell you exactly who they are. Exactly who they are. Isolated, rejection. So this leader, whoever it is struggling, and they have isolated themselves. They feel all alone in the world, and they feel absolutely rejected. They do not feel seen. They don't feel heard. They don't feel like anything is working for them. Now I'm going to look at you. I'm going to look at the other side of this. That's causing insecurity, impartiality, and soulmate. So I was just saying this the other day. There's the movie, is it Avatar? It's like all the blue people, and he has to fight for his dragon. He has to go up onto the mountaintop, and he has to like create that connection with their tails, and then he has to get on that thing, and he has to stay on it, right? It's like the challenge of bonding. And so whenever somebody comes into your life and they have the ability to trigger this kind of profound emotion, it's because something is asking to be cleared. You know, like, let's say you were like bullied your whole life, and you keep on, like, by your brother, which I was bullied by my brother. But it wasn't until I learned to stand up for myself. It was like my brother was like setting the stage. He's like, I'm gonna keep doing this till you stand. They will keep doing it until you stand up for yourself. And when you do stand up for yourself, they admire you for it. They admire you for it. They like that somebody challenged them. It's like just letting somebody get away with whatever they're doing because everybody's afraid to stand up to them, right? And then you come along and you're like, I don't know what this is, but this isn't gonna fly with me here, right? And so you are past, present, future. You are coming into balance with your insecurities and creating a connection and merging your conscious and your subconscious. So you are the one that's expanding and growing and ready to step up to the plate. This individual is the catalyst or this could potentially be you and you, right? We've got the two, the merging. Could be the catalyst to get you to confront these insecurities, because this individual is bringing them all to the surface. And you can't give that individual the homage. How about look at that person as the messenger, as the higher purpose, even in the negative, right? They're the higher purpose. This is very interesting reading. Goodness. You know, like the whole point of a reading is to identify the pain points so that we can shift and redirect. And so this is a pretty dark reading, if you ask me. And whoever you are encountering, I mean, seriously, I always think that this kind of encounter is like the hand of God. And it's like the wrath of God and coming in. But you've got love, creativity, and seer, right? I asked, who is this I'm talking to? You are this, look at this, the seer. You can see. Don't ever let anybody call you crazy, because you might be feeling crazy, right? These emotions make you feel crazy. And then if you are the only one experiencing this, or the only one willing to say something about it, everybody around you make you feel crazy. But there is some crazy energy here. Crazy. Lots of darkness in this reading. So let's see what's being surrendered through this. Surrender your addictions. Attachment to results. Drama. Controlling people. Divine timing. Obsessive thinking. Defensiveness. Play. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? We just discovered every block that you have. I might tell you, write this down. So right now, whether you know it or not, or if you're on board or not, inevitably, you're clearing out addictions, right? So you might be having some pretty crazy conflict with that. You're surrendering your attachments to the results. Surrendering drama, surrendering the desire to control people, divine timing, obsessive thinking, defensiveness, all so you can play, just so you can get to this mode of play, okay? You know, I've only been doing these readings for a couple weeks now on YouTube, and I realized that, you know, the positive polarity is always present in the readings, but I've also found so many pain points that the collective is trying to clear out. And if you're a victim of the energy, meaning that you are not taking account, you only become a victim if you don't take accountability. Think about that. Once you stand up and start advocating and you take accountability for anything that is happening in your life, immediately does it start clearing out. Immediately. You are clearing out addictions. You're at that point. Don't worry about the results, because you're probably moving into a whole new version of yourself. No matter how emotionally charged the situation, remain calm. Don't contribute to the drama ever, and stay centered. Staying centered will resolve it a lot quicker, right? Any resistance, any force, any avoidance, anytime you do that, you are calling in the negative energy. So you just release and let go. All in divine timing. It doesn't happen instantly, but as soon as you pull back your energy, everything starts to balance itself. And obsessive thinking, right? So we've got somebody that is really overthinking a situation. The only time we overthink is when we're not taking action. Now, this is really important. It's like when somebody complains to me, I'm like, what are you doing about it? It doesn't do you any good to keep complaining about it. You have to do something about it. You have to take action. with love and creativity, bringing in that softness. We don't owe anybody anything. No defensiveness is a sign of weakness. To communicate in a more empowered way, stay centered and hear someone out. Then offer clear, non-defensive response. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help you bring you clarity or even resolve the problem. Everything happens in the divine timeline, right? Nothing is linear. So we do have to remember that spirit works step by step as you open your heart to receive that support and that guidance. And you got to be willing to take action. That's the accountability. I can only heal by doing the right thing right here, right now, in this moment. Otherwise, I keep packing on the karma, packing it. And then pretty soon, I just gotta be it. So, I'm gonna look at, what is this karma? And then we're gonna find out what the outcome is gonna be here. Like, I wanna see what's on the other side of you taking action. What's on the other side? So right now we're looking at some wounding in you. Look at that. Unbind inner chains. Your soul is ready to be free. Let go of self-imposed limitations and step into your power. Yes, please. Look at that. Yes, please. Like, breaking free. You're ready to break free from this bullying, whatever this is. Bullying. So heal the attachment wound. There's that. So your worth is not tied to being needed. Let go of proving your value. It's very subtle. Remember that. When we're trying to prove ourselves, it's, first off, not authentic. I'm not ever trying to prove myself. Ever. I am doing what I'm doing because it is the right thing to do, and this is the way I want to do it. I'm not doing it to impress you. I'm not doing it to stimulate confirmation or validation. I'm doing it because I want to. And that is how you eliminate that attachment wound. You do it because it's the right thing to do. I am not trying to get you to tell me what my value is. I am already valued. Okay? So embrace both light and dark. I like that, right? I always say release your innocence. We don't need any of that. You trying to be innocent is going to keep you trapped in the situation, right? Getting out of it might be ugly. Like, let's just pretend like you're in a deep hole and you're trying to claw your way out. It's not going to be very pretty. I mean, you're really going to have to sweat, and you're going to have to get dirt under your nails, and you're going to have to scream and shout to see if you can get anybody's attention. But that's part of the journey, is merging light and dark, up, down, left, right. Hermetically speaking, we are one whole, and there is always dark within. What was it? Somebody said, if I get married, I'm gonna have them sign a prenup agreement or whatever. I said, well, that's not a bad idea, because you get lots and lots of light from your partner until the darkest hour. And in that darkest hour, something blossoms that you were never expecting. And all of a sudden, the person you thought you knew is gone, has left the premises. And so I do agree that we are light and dark, and until an individual has transcended their wounds, into their pain, into wisdom, They are still in that triggering state. They still haven't confronted the beast within. And so that beast is still active, just waiting to come out, waiting for you to do something so they can get you, right? Not on purpose, of course. None of us really understand the psychology of the dark energy, like Carl Jung, which is one of my favorite. I actually have a book of his right here. One of my friends just gave me this book, and so I'm gonna just divinate it. Let's see. It is astounding that man, the instigator, inventor, and vehicle of all these developments, the originator of all judgments and decisions, and the planner of the future, must make himself such a quantitative negligible. The contradiction, the paradoxical evaluation of humanity by man himself. Is in truth a matter for wonder, and one can only explain it as springing from an extraordinary uncertainty of judgment. In other words, man is an enigma to himself. There it is. Man is an enigma to himself. That is a profound observation. This is understandable, seeing that he lacks the means of comparison necessary for self-knowledge. He knows how to distinguish himself from the other animals in point of anatomy and physiology, but as a conscious reflecting being gifted with speech, he lacks all criteria for self-judgment. And I feel like, right, that's what we're working with here. He is on this planet a unique phenomenon which he cannot compare with anything else. The possibility of comparison and hence of self-knowledge would arise only if he could establish relations with quasi-human mammals inhabiting other stars. Until then, man must continue to resemble a hermit who knows that in respect of comparative anatomy, he has affinities with the anthropods, but to judge by appearances is extraordinarily different from his cousins in respect of his psyche. So you get the idea there. And I really love that. Human is an enigma. Man is an enigma to himself, right? We're supposed to have like really strong relationships where we can work through that reciprocity in the shadow part of us and release those wounds in a safe space where we can express ourselves in a safe space. But many of us aren't experiencing those powerful relationships. So, okay, just to give you a review, you are a seer. You have foresight. You're unbinding you're unbinding inner chains. You're healing attachment wounds right now. And the way to do that is to take action and advocate for your circumstance. Don't overthink it. Less is more. I think that's a big message from Spirit. Less is always more. Keep that in your mind. Remember, you're embracing both dark and light. There is no bad or good in this situation. That's not what this is about. This is about right action, taking the steps that are the most important. Getting clarity, 5555, okay? It's an absolute honor to be here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bobby, psychic medium, Reiki practitioner, and twin flame facilitator, and also a mother of 4 young adult sons. I always like to include that. So I will see you in the next video. If you'd like to work with me personally, individually, working through all of this, my link is in my bio. You guys have a beautiful day.